Today, like I said, is the day of discovery of the cross. I want to share with you one of the issues that we have today in our lives. It's actually since last month we started a new electronic ministry, and we are, with our team, we're going through many options. I want to share with you a story that took place back in 2013. And maybe some of you don't remember, but I do, growing up. On Labor Day weekend, there was a famous telethon that was called the Jerry Lewis Telethon for Muscular Dystrophy. It was a 3-day telethon, and you'd watch it. You'd start on Friday night, and it would go through all the way till Monday, and you'd see Jerry Lewis standing there, and he wouldn't sleep, he'd talk to guests, and he'd raise millions and millions of dollars for muscular dystrophy. I'm sure many of you remember that. It was a phenomenon. The Jerry Lewis Telethon, which he did for several decades. He made billions of dollars for muscular dystrophy. In 2013, or maybe 2014 it was, the head of muscular dystrophy fired him. They fired Jerry Lewis. And everybody was shocked, surprised. And listen what she said at that time. She said, in a 140-character world, we can't justify a 3-day telethon. Of course, she was alluding to the Twitter world. At that time, it was 140 characters. You have to say your statement in 140 characters. That's what a tweet is. And if you think that's just a thing, think about the last president. He ran his entire presidency on Twitter. So it's not just a phenomena, but it's a way of life today. And now we come into our church, where we have these huge stories, like today, the discovery of the cross. Do I tell you the story? It's like huge. Queen Helena, the mother of Constantine, wants to find the cross of Christ. She goes all the way to Jerusalem. She goes up on Golgotha. She finds 3 crosses there under the garbage pile. It had been there for 3 centuries. They clear it off, and they find 3 crosses. Which is the one of Jesus? There is a dead man they bring over, and they place on each of the crosses. And on the 3rd cross, he rejuvenates. He comes back to life. And the story is that that is the cross of Christ. And that cross was found. Today is that celebration. And we Armenians have a piece of that cross. In fact, not only in Echmiadzin, we had the good fortune a few years ago to be in New York, where at the diocese there, they had a piece of the cross, and you were able to venerate it. Now, this is a beautiful story. Do I tell you this story and then forget about what we're doing today? Because that's really one of the difficulties and dilemmas that we have in the traditional church. We talk about huge stories which have major impact, but at the end of the day, the guy's saying, well, you know what? Gas is $7 a gallon. There's a war going on. Nobody seems to care. My children have to deal with school. I have daily problems. What do I care what Helena did? And with all due respect, yeah, we care about what Helena did. It's a matter of history. But at the end of the day, we're hurting. And this is where church needs to address, needs to talk. And that fine line between the massive story and the 140-character life that we have, 280 characters that we have now, is a difficult one to walk on. That's why I said earlier, pray for your pastor. It's a very difficult place. How do you present the story and the impact that it has? And I'm going to try in a very simple manner that I want to share with you today. When we talk about the discovery of the cross, I want you to think about this, that in the Armenian church, we're completely different. You probably know that anyway, but we're completely different than all the other Christian churches in that we haven't been influenced by outside life until the last 100 years. We've been in a small enclave in Armenia. It's a landlocked nation. It's at the crossroads of 3 major continents. Every conqueror, every barbarian has gone through it, but at the end of the day, we've stayed with our church. This church, what you see here today, the service that you see, has been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And so this is kind of like unusual, because you say, well, wow, if you've been back east, you look at Massachusetts and Connecticut, you say, wow, this is history. It's like 300 years old. You go to England and you look at the castles and everything, go 800 years old. What you experience today is 2,000 years old, since the time of Christ. And so we have a difficult time as people trying to put all of this together. And this is really a challenge for us today. And the way that I want to share with you is take a look at the cross. If we find the cross today, I want you to find it not in a garbage heap, but I want you to find it as a living instrument and a symbol of love. And it's very easy to think of this. If you've got a nice mommy, if your mommy's not nice, you've got a nice grandma, you've got somebody nice in your life who loved you, who cared about you, and the reason they cared about you, the reason they loved you, is because they sacrificed for you. And they gave of themselves. That's the symbol of love. That's what today we find in our lives. The symbol of love. The opportunity to rise from our occasion and say, you know what? Life is really difficult, but I've got the cross, and Jesus said, bear it, and you will bear the fruit. You will give that love that this world so much needs. Today is called Kutchach, the discovery of the cross. Discover it in your lives. Not in the form of what you wear, but as a way of living the life of love, the life of sacrifice. May God bless you all. Amen.